I believe we have found a new piece to the Islamic dilemma. If you haven't heard of the Islamic dilemma, it goes like this. The Quran affirms the previous scriptures to Muhammad, and Muhammad will tell the people often to go and judge by their book. In Surah 1094, Muhammad is told that if he is ever in doubt, that he should judge by the book that came before, the revelation that was given to the people before. So we have the situation where the Quran is affirming the Bible, the Torah, and the Gospel, but the Bible is in contradiction to the Quran. And so, since the Bible came before the Quran, and the Quran is affirming the previous scriptures, the Quran is false. Muslims today will often say that the Bible we have today has been corrupted. However, the Quran also affirms that the Bible has been preserved. In passages like Surah 6, verse 115, we see that Allah says that no one can alter his words. And he is affirming that he sent down the previous scriptures in other passages. So, his words cannot be altered. So does that mean that they can be altered? Because if they can, then the Quran is also false. This is the Islamic dilemma. However, I was shown a video that recently, and the original creators were not tagged in the stitched video, so I can't give them the credit. But I want to bring up a new point I have not been hearing, and that is in Surah 19:33. Surah 19, or Surah Miriam, is the story of Jesus' birth. And listen, if you're a Christian and you read the beginnings of Surah 19, you will see inconsistencies across the board. The story is not correct in any form. But what I find interesting is in verse 33. Verse 33 specifically says, "Peace be upon me, the day I was born, the day I die, and the day I will be raised back to life." I've seen interpretations of this verse that it's not speaking of a literal death that has already occurred. It's speaking of a future death when Jesus comes back to earth. However, in Surah 4:157, we see that Allah, through Muhammad, is explaining that Jesus was never crucified and that he was taken by Allah. He never had a physical death. So if he never had a physical death and he wasn't crucified, how can he ever be raised back to life? We have two pieces of that verse that don't make any sense, but yet those were the words of Isa. So what do you think? Is this a new piece to the Islamic dilemma, or is there a rational explanation to this passage? Don't forget to share this so that more people know.